Austin.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll try to give a very brief update on the status of the issues that are pending before the court concerning the proposed solid waste landfill. As you're aware, there is a proposed solid waste permit pending before the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. And we have previously filed on behalf of the county statements with the TCEQ and specifically with the executive director, calling to his attention the existence and status of the county solid waste ordinance and requesting that he take action to deny the proposed application for the proposed permit. We've done that on at least 2 occasions. So that's on record and on file at the TCEQ. We have, as you know, been awaiting action from the TCEQ because we did not feel that it would be appropriate, or as lawyers say, right, for any legal action on behalf of the county until the TCEQ responded to our demand in regard to the ordinance. And there's been no formal response from the executive director. However, the executive director this week has made his determination that the permit application is technically complete. What that means in layman's language is that he and the staff have completed their review of the application. As you know, they have submitted a number of notices of deficiency and required additional information from the applicant. They've received those back, and they have compared the information that they have to the rules concerning solid waste permits. And after considering and evaluating those, he has determined that this permit is ready for action by the commission. That is, though he doesn't specifically state that, that is in effect a determination that the TCEQ and the executive director will not deny this permit based on our ordinance. That they have not accepted our petition and request that this ordinance be found to be insufficient at the time it was filed, that it be found to be incomplete, and that the ordinance then predated the application. I have previously asked you not to take any further action in this matter because I felt like that we, frankly, owed a legal duty to the executive director to give him the opportunity to fully consider the arguments and requests that we have made. But I also have previously told you that when he does take that action and make a decision, that if you wish to do so, that that would be an appropriate time to pursue litigation, to obtain a court determination of whether or not the ordinance is preceded by the application, or whether that application was insufficient as a matter of law to precede your ordinance. We're at that point. This action by the executive director moves us to that point. So that is one appropriate action that you can take at this time. I've also told you that if you wish to consider a host agreement, if you wish to enter into an agreement with the applicant, that upon the applicant complying with certain conditions, that you would withdraw your opposition to this landfill and enter into an agreement with the applicant to enforce those conditions, that you could negotiate such an agreement. They've been entered into in other counties, and that if you felt that the benefit of such an agreement, in particular, if you felt that you could obtain certain commitments that go above and beyond permits, such as the ability to enforce conditions on the waste stream, on the construction of the landfill, if you could obtain conditions that you felt moved it into the public interest to enter into a host agreement for this landfill, that you could take that up at the appropriate time. This is also the appropriate time for that, because we're now about to move forward at the TCQ on this application. If we're not going to enter into a host agreement, then we need to seek party status or go on to court to continue to pursue our ordinance to stop the landfill. In fact, we're at a crossroads. We have two clear possible courses of action: pursue litigation or action for the TCQ to stop the landfill, stop this application, or enter into a host agreement to obtain the benefits of the host agreement. If you move forward with a host agreement, part of that would include amending your solid waste ordinance, because right now, whether TCQ recognizes it or not, right now that ordinance does prohibit disposal of solid waste at this site. And with a host agreement, you would need to agree to change that and amend that ordinance. I don't recommend and do not believe it be appropriate to do that today. Before you could do that, you must give certain notices under the law. You must give notice of an intention to consider an amendment to your ordinance, and you must give notice, in my opinion, to be advisable to give notice of a takings impact assessment of the effect of that action should you take it. That requires a 30-day notice and additional hearing. So it would not be my recommendation that there be any vote on any host agreement today. That would be premature. If you want to open that option to consider approval of the host agreement, then you should, in my opinion, start that notice process. Authorize notice of an intention to take up an amendment to the ordinance and get that notice published. If you choose to, that would also be an appropriate time to give that notice to provide draft copies of the proposed host agreement for public review and comment. And when you come back for your hearing on the proposed amendment to the ordinance, you can hear comments from the public, not only on the proposed amendment to the ordinance, but the proposed host agreement with the applicant, should you choose to take action on it. So I think we're at the appropriate point to decide, do we move forward with litigation and try to enforce the ordinance against the TCEQ? Frankly, not against Pintail, because it's the TCEQ that's not accepting the ordinance and giving it effect. Or do we move forward with notice to consider a host agreement and an amendment to the ordinance and a takings impact assessment to allow you to accept the host agreement with conditions on the site?
Thank you, Councilor. All right. Next items we have on the agenda are 33, 34, 35. Hear any?
Judge,
Commissioner Stars?
I move to proceed with litigation to enforce Water County Ordinance number 2011-001. Whereas Water County has received and reviewed the notice of application and preliminary decision for municipal solid waste permit, proposed permit number 2377. Proposed Pintail Landfill LLC, new Type 1 municipal solid waste landfill from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. And whereas Waller County has reviewed the TCEQ Executive Director's decision that the technical review of this applicant is complete and that a draft permit has been prepared. Further, Waller County has reviewed the Executive Director's preliminary decision that this permit, if issued, meets all statutory and regulatory requirements. And whereas Waller County has determined that TCEQ Executive Director's decisions concerning the permit number 2377 violates Waller County's ordinance number 2011-001 under sections 363.112 and 364.012 of the Texas Health and Safety Code to prohibit the processing and disposal of solid waste in certain areas of Waller County. Further, at the time the ordinance was enacted, Pintail Landfill LLC did not have a complete permit application for its proposed landfill pending before commission, and the proposed site of the landfill has not been determined to be suitable location for disposal of solid waste by Waller County. And whereas Waller County has determined that granting of any permit for Pintail Landfill LLC, the process of disposal of municipal or industrial solid waste in Waller County at the proposed site by TCEQ violates Waller County ordinance. Therefore, the Waller County Commissioners Court authorized and instructs its legal counsel, Allison Bass and Associates, to proceed with litigation to enforce Waller County's ordinance number 2011-001 and enjoin the consideration for the issuance of proposed permit number 2377 by TCEQ.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to proceed with litigation to enforce Waller County ordinance number 2011-001 as read by Commissioner Stires. It's open discussion.
I would ask all of you to consider this a total waiver.
I asked for a voice vote instead of a hand vote. I don't know what's the problem. I'd like to move for a voice vote. A poll. Thank you.
If there's no objections, we'll vote poll. We'll go to the court if there's no further discussion. If there is no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. Commissioner Precinct 1, for or against?
For.
Commissioner 2?
Against.
Commissioner 3?
For.
Commissioner 4?
Nay.
And I vote nay. Motion fails 3-2. Are there any other desires of the court?
I'm going to check that.
Second.
And move and second to adjourn the meeting. There's no further business. Those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, motion fails.
In fact, we're at a crossroads. We have two clear possible courses of action. Pursue litigation or action for the TCEQ to stop the landfill, stop this application, or enter into a host agreement to obtain the benefits of the host agreement. If you move forward with a host agreement, part of that would include amending your solid waste ordinance, because right now, whether TCEQ recognizes it or not, right now that ordinance does prohibit disposal of solid waste at this site.